When we flip through the dusty pages of history, we usually get caught up in the glory of kings, famous generals, or the epic marches of massive armies. But in this explainer, we're going to put on a different hat. We're looking at the past through the eyes of a material historian. Because, sometimes the collapse of a massive empire or the dawn of an entirely new era isn't actually hidden in the brilliant strategies inside a commander's tent. Nope. It's hidden in the microscopic atomic structure of the weapons the soldiers were holding right there on the battlefield. Based on our source materials, we're exploring the story of two completely contrasting materials that literally changed the course of history: volcanic glass and forged steel. Just by looking at the physical nature of these elements, we're going to see exactly how two colossal cultures collided. The fate of war is often hidden not in the courage of the soldiers, but in the microscopic structure of the material in their hands. Close your eyes for just a second and imagine you're walking through a sun-scorched, still smoldering battlefield in the New World back in the 16th century. All around you, there are these shattered pieces of glass carrying the legacy of thousands of indigenous warriors who fought with unbelievable heroism. And standing against them? Crushed, battered, but fundamentally intact armors made of European steel. These lifeless remnants lying in the dirt. They whisper to us. They tell us microscopically not just who won the battle, but exactly why it ended the way it did.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Collision of Two Worlds, the Mesoamerican and Spanish Encounter.
The absolute most striking symbol of this wildly asymmetrical technological encounter was the Macuahuitl. Now, this was a traditional Mesoamerican wooden club, but it wasn't just some ordinary piece of wood. It was a lethal, terrifying work of art. It had razor-sharp obsidian, which is volcanic glass, meticulously embedded all along its edges. Think about the physical nature of obsidian for a second. It is so incredibly sharp that it separates at the molecular level. We're talking about a flawless edge that's even finer than the most advanced modern surgical scalpels. Imagine the high-pitched whistle it must have made swinging through the air and that ruthless, perfect cut when it met an opponent. It was an impressively sharp, but, as we'll see, equally brittle catastrophe.
Section 2, Volcanic Glass and Steel, Material Science on the Battlefield.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how extreme the physical contrasts of these two materials actually are. On one side, we have obsidian. Like we just talked about, it's as sharp as a razor, but it's incredibly brittle. The exact second it strikes a hard surface, it simply cannot absorb the kinetic energy. It instantly shatters into a million pieces. On the other side is forged steel, straight out of the hot furnaces of Toledo. Now, steel might not possess that flawless, micro-thin cutting edge of obsidian, but it makes up for it with a heavy, unyielding resilience and perfect structural integrity. In those narrow, bloody, close-quarters combat zones, these physical properties were absolutely everything. The fundamental rule of the battlefield became this: steel takes the blow and bends, while volcanic glass delivers a perfect cut, but then shatters into dust.
Section 3, Ritual Traditions versus Industry, Cultural Understandings of Warfare.
It would be a huge mistake to think of these weapons as just pieces of wood, glass, or metal. They aren't just lifeless objects. They actually reflect the entire mindset of the societies that built them. When we compare the war philosophies of these two worlds, there is a massive, gaping divide. In Mesoamerica's ritualistic warfare, the ultimate, most honorable goal wasn't actually to kill the enemy on the battlefield. It was to capture them alive for their rituals. This was a strict requirement of millennium-old local traditions. And the Macuahuitl, it was perfectly designed to cripple and bleed the enemy, but keep them breathing. On the flip side, you have a completely different mindset: the industrialized lethality of the Iberian Peninsula. Spanish tactics were 100% built on decisively destroying the enemy and executing a rapid conquest, using sheer technological superiority. Their weapons were built to take lives, period. And behind those weapons was an industrial supply chain capable of continuously churning out more. So out there on the dirt, it wasn't just two armies colliding. It was two completely different cultural definitions of death.
Section 4, Logistics on the Battlefield, the Decisive Impact of Equipment.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the actual flow of combat. How did these philosophical differences and material properties dictate the fight? Well, it all comes down to battlefield logistics. The clash basically unfolded in 3 steps. Step 1, the initial clash. The obsidian edges strike the Spanish steel armor at tremendous speeds, creating massive shock and blunt trauma. But then we hit the critical step 2, material degradation. The volcanic glass simply cannot displace the energy against the unyielding hardness of the steel. It cracks, it chips, and it shatters into hundreds of pieces upon that hard impact. And that brings us to step 3, the phase that literally sealed the fate of the war, the maintenance bottleneck. Indigenous warriors were forced to try and replace their broken obsidian blades right in the middle of chaotic hand-to-hand combat. In a matter of minutes, their lethal weapons turned into useless wooden sticks. Meanwhile, the forged steel swords of the Spanish maintained their shape, ready to deliver blow after blow. The sheer fragility of glass against steel created an insurmountable logistical nightmare for the local forces. When you sit back and consider all of this, the material science, the shattered glass, the massive logistical bottlenecks, and the incredibly stark cultural contrasts, one really striking question echoes in our minds. Can a single piece of metal truly change the course of history? Section 5. Technology that changed history. The outcomes. The answer, as the sources show us, is a definitive yes. Metallurgical advancements and physical material properties undeniably dictated the dramatic historical outcomes of that entire era. Think about it. The overwhelming numerical superiority of the Mesoamerican soldiers, their absolute, unmatched courage in defending their homeland, their tactical brilliance, all of it was unfortunately nullified by the simple structural resilience of steel. The tireless durability and technological makeup of Spanish steel physically overpowered thousands of years of local warfare traditions. When push came to shove, human will had to bow down to the physics of the material. All of this destruction leaves us with a very stark contrast. Deeply rooted ritual traditions, traditions around which an entire beautiful civilization was built, suffered an absolute collapse when they were forced to collide with the cold, efficient, and unyielding nature of industrialized lethality. Technological superiority and the microscopic resilience of just one single material can literally bury millennial traditions in one conflict. So the next time you're reading about a historical victory or defeat, don't just look at the names of the kings or the generals. Look at the metals in the soldiers' hands, look at the weapons and their physical chemistry. It really begs the question, what modern materials, the ones we believe simply make our lives easier today, might be silently altering the course of our own future right now? It's definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks for exploring this explainer with me.